Please help me to reach 1,000 subscribers. I never thought supporting someone could feel like giving everything and receiving nothing in return, but here I am, wondering if I was ever really seen. My name's Alex, I'm 28, and for the past 4 years I did what most people would call the right thing. I supported my girlfriend Emily through college. I didn't just help her with tuition. I paid for her rent, groceries, textbooks, even her late-night pizza cravings when she was stressed about exams. I told myself it wasn't about money, it was about love, about believing in her dreams, about building a future together. When Emily started her first year of college, I remember sitting with her in that tiny apartment she shared with 3 roommates, her eyes wide and terrified as she talked about how she didn't know how she'd manage. I told her, "Don't worry, I've got you. Focus on your studies. I'll handle the rest." And I meant it. Every bill I paid, every unexpected expense I covered, it was all part of the deal. I thought she appreciated it, I really did. Every time she smiled when she opened an email saying she passed a test or finished a project, I felt proud. Proud of her, proud that I could help, proud that love could be like this. Patient, supportive, unwavering. Over the years I started to notice subtle shifts. Emily became more confident, more outgoing, and more independent, which I had hoped for, but there were moments that made me uneasy. She would joke about my generosity in front of her friends, laughing as though it was funny that I handled most of her bills. I brushed it off, telling myself she didn't mean anything by it. She was just relaxed around her friends, just being Emily. The night before her graduation, I stayed up late paying off the final installment of her student loan. I looked around at my own apartment, modest but comfortable, and I thought about all the sacrifices I had made. Time spent at extra shifts at work, weekends I gave up to help her with moving, tutoring sessions, late-night drives to pick up forgotten assignments. It was exhausting, but I told myself love was worth it. Graduation day arrived and I could barely contain my excitement. Seeing Emily in her cap and gown, holding that diploma, I felt like I was witnessing a victory we had built together. I clapped the loudest in the auditorium, my heart swelling with pride, thinking about every bill I had paid, every ride I had given, every late-night conversation where I reminded her to push forward. This was it, the moment where all the sacrifices made sense. After the ceremony, Emily invited me to her graduation party. I was thrilled, imagining her friends, her family, the laughter, the celebration. I walked in carrying a gift and a smile, ready to toast to her success, ready to hear her tell the story of how far she'd come. I didn't notice at first how many of her friends were already there, chatting and laughing, the room buzzing with excitement. I found Emily near the cake, radiant, the center of attention. I handed her the gift and she hugged me, her eyes shining. "Thank you for everything, Alex," she whispered. My chest tightened, a mixture of pride and relief washing over me. But then it happened. One of her friends, joking and oblivious to the tension, asked, "So, Alex, did you pay for all of this too? The college, the apartment, the snacks?" Laughter erupted around the room. Emily smiled nervously, glancing at me, but she didn't stop it. She didn't intervene. And that was when I noticed it, the way her eyes didn't meet mine. The smile was polite but distant. It was like she was performing a role for everyone else, and I was suddenly just a part of the background. The comments kept coming, playful but sharp. "Wow, you're really living the dream, huh, Alex?" one of her friends said, clinking his glass. Another added, "She owes you big time, man. Big time." Everyone laughed again and Emily joined in. I forced a laugh too, trying to mask the sudden tightness in my chest. I wanted to believe it was just harmless teasing, but the words echoed in my mind. Was me? Big time? As the night went on, I realized something terrifying. Emily wasn't just laughing at the comments to make the room comfortable. She was laughing at me. Her laughter was sharp, confident, but empty. The warmth I had thought existed between us, the gratitude, the shared pride, the bond we had built, felt fragile, like it could shatter at any moment. Later, as she mingled with her friends, I found myself standing by the drink table, pretending to enjoy the party while my stomach twisted. I remembered all the late nights I had sacrificed, all the stress I had carried silently. And now, in this room filled with people celebrating her success, I felt invisible. When she finally came to me, brushing a strand of hair from her face, I wanted to say something. I wanted to remind her gently that I had been there for her through every struggle, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt. But the words wouldn't come. Instead, I smiled and lifted my glass, silently toasting to a victory that felt suddenly hollow. And then it happened. Right there in front of everyone. Emily raised her glass, looked at me and said loud enough for the whole room to hear, "I couldn't have done it without Alex, financially of course. A burst of laughter followed. Her friends chuckled, some awkwardly, some gleefully. I froze. My chest tightened. My hands gripped the glass so hard that I could feel the condensation pressing into my skin. I don't think I even heard the rest of the party. The room spun. I wanted to disappear, to vanish into the crowd, to melt into the floor and be anywhere else. And in that moment, as Emily smiled at me with a kind of pride that no longer included gratitude, I realized something I hadn't allowed myself to think. Maybe after everything, I had been taken for granted. Not just overlooked, not just unnoticed, but truly, deeply taken for granted.